Shall we hide your bag?
And we're live.
Oh, right. Just putting the air conditioning on because we've got a very hot model here, and quite literally in more ways than one. She's got a sweaty bottom. And that's because the salon is warm, not because she beat herself. Anyway,
Not yet.
so air conditioning on, you should be cooling down more and more every second. Katisha, who is here, beautiful, gorgeous Katisha, with the most incredible hair. It's a hairdresser's dream, really, but it's probably hair that most people don't necessarily know how to cope with. And in the world of hairdressing, unfortunately, texture is a subject that people don't get. So they don't know how to control curls, they don't know how to control waves, they don't know how to control movement in the hair. And it's a sin, really, because unfortunately we've hid behind the straightening irons for long enough now. And that texture is about understanding the density of the hair, the moisture in the hair, the health in the hair, and adding certain products. Like I've used some of the Smooth and Shine oil on Katisha's hair just to, again, to give some gloss and polish. I would also, if I was using it with a natural texture, I would use some curl enhancer, but I've not today. All I've used is some Smooth and Shine. Why, you ask? Why? Why? Why, Tisha? Why did I use it? I'll answer the question. So this is what we did. The reason for what we did with Katisha was because she's natural. She's got natural Afro-Caribbean hair. What happens is the roots are like really strong with movement. So underneath here, where the heat of the head is, the curls really take shape. And what happens then is it buffs the hair out and makes it really massive. Now, girls like with this texture, they like that. They like slick, sleek, flat look. So how did we achieve it? Really easy. We used the hair dryer and we used some Smooth and Shine oil. And I just went through and I blew the roots out, which is a backstage term for flattening the roots. I used a brush like this, and I just went through in sections, and you can see now how all the roots are flat and they're not frizzy. Before, they were up and dense. So now I've just gone through section by section, put the hair through the brush, pass me the Dyson over, please.
Do you mean the Hoover?
No, I'm not going to hoover her hair. I'm going to not have sex with that. Can you put the nozzle on the end, please?
I don't know how to work it. It's brand new.
Just do it yourself. Thank you. So all we do is we hit the on button, pump up the power, and we go in with the dryer at the roots and flatten those down. Put the heat through the hair, so that's where you can see straight away what's done. So it just makes the hair sit flat. You can even look in the mirror if you want, Terry. You get me?
Yep.
So, what I wanted to show you today was the do's and don'ts of tonging.
And question time.
And some questions.
So, you've been at the salon
Have been at the
for
salon.
a week.
I have been.
What on earth have you been doing and where have you been?
On holiday. Haven't I, Kerry?
Yep.
Been on holiday.
Living it up in Paris.
I've been drinking champagne and eating canops for the entire week in Gay Paris. That's the day. And yeah, I've just been. What have I been doing? I've been doing the shows in Paris with the amazingly talented Sam McKnight, the best hairdresser in the world, in my eyes. And we did some amazing shows, and I've come back so juiced up. I can't tell you. Have you got a question about my juice, Kerry? I could just see your eyes flickering when I mentioned it then.
No.
You haven't got a question about my juice?
No, your juice is great.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to touch on some tonging really quickly. And grab those Katish Manish. So, what is the difference in tonging? Well, it's quite simple, really. There are multiple uses in the way you can tong hair. You can tong hair to give you root lift, which gives you volume. You can tong hair to make it spiral, You can tong hair to make it wavy. And they are very different, and it's all about heat transforming from the hot iron onto the hair.
Hot iron?
Heat transferring from the hot iron onto the...
Yeah.
Correct. Excellent. So, what would you like me to do first? Root lift?
Yes, please.
Okay, root lift. Very simple. All we do is we take a little section of hair, and you're going to say to yourself, how can you do this at home? Well, I don't think you can. The same as a hairdresser can. But you can certainly try it. I'm all about 6s and 7s with the cables. They're all a bit jiggly-poky. Right, okay. So what do I mean about heat transferring? Well, the heat, if you look at the barrel of the tong, where does it go in?
At the root.
At the root. And why do you think that is?
To get the best lift.
To get the most heat. Okay? Stick to beauty therapy. Then you wrap. And you wrap. And you close the tong. Now, you don't leave the ends out, you literally keep moving everything around. And have you noticed that the hair, the heat is right at the roots? The most amount of heat is right at the roots. So when I take that out, you're going to get maximum root lift.
Wow, that's volume right there.
So you can see, if you look down here please, Kerry, you can see that that's going to give you all that volume at the root, because even now, feel that tong, feel that hair, how hot it is.
So hot.
Well, it's warm, huh? So, another option, obviously that would all depend on whether the look that you were going for was bigger and slightly more, had a bit more structure in it. The other bit of information is the size of your tong. Now this is a tong that Kerry prefers, but this tong was modelled on myself.
You wish.
No, this tong obviously is a 38mm Babyliss Pro curling tong, and it's the largest in diameter, and it will give you an ultra soft wave. However, what I learnt this week is you will get a big kick from this. If you use a big tong, you will get a big kick. So I'm using the smaller tong to make it look looser. How am I doing that? Do you think, Kerry? Is that your question?
How are you doing it?
Thanks for asking.
Let me
Just
take
give me
that hot
back,
poker
please.
away from you.
Don't get too excited about these long cylindrical devices, will you?
I'll try and...
Okay, so one of the
Calm
shows
it.
that we worked on, which I assisted on, which was fabulous, I learnt from the amazing Sam McKnight how that a slight twist of the hand and a change of direction can make the curl look much more flatter and softer and more elegant. So what was it? Well, it was interesting. It went in parallel. It was, sorry, excuse me, horizontal, and you would twist and let it out. And what you get is a bump. Not a bridal wave. Now, Katisha said to me, this is Katisha.
Hi.
She said to me, but how, she's got a stutter. She said to me, but how can I do that? Well, I would say the best way to achieve this look is not to use a comb, just use your fingers and grab pieces quite randomly so it's loose and effortless. We don't really want it to be too organised. So I'm just picking pieces up quite free, and I'm going in with the wrap, and I'm using a smaller tong, but it's only in the hair for a couple of seconds, and you get that look.
What did you prep the hair with?
Can you see that, Kerry? Mm-hmm. How does it look on the camera?
That's good.
Cool. So I'm just going to keep going and answer you some more questions. What is your question,
What
Katie?
did you prep the hair with?
What did I prep the hair with? I've already told you that.
Yeah, but you used, what bamboozled me was you put oil on the hair and then you're putting heat on it too.
Yeah. Why would that bamboozle you, love?
Because you think you were frying the hair.
You mean like you do chicken?
Yeah, oil and heat.
How would you? Do you think would you use oil to fry chicken? You do?
I use coconut oil.
Do you? Yes. That's a really interesting subject, because coconut oil featured at one of the shows that I assisted on this season. Let me tell you what. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of knocking this wave in. Look, have a look here. If anything, it's maybe a wee bit much, but we can pull that out a bit. Isn't it lovely?
Beautiful.
Isn't it?
Effortless.
Anything else?
So, what shows did you do then? What designers did you work for?
I assisted on Dres Van Norton with the legend Sam McKnight. We then followed up by Balmain, which was this is where I've learnt this tonguing technique by the legend that is Sam McKnight. And then we had a bit of a day off, which is unheard of, and during my holiday that Kerry kept saying, "How's your holiday?" I'm like, "Really good, getting up at 3:50 in the morning."
He lies, that was him just getting home from the club.
From the I think I'd die. Can you imagine turning up with a hangover on Sam's team?
Oh, Jesus. I know. Is that what will happen?
I would rather give birth to a Skoda. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. What other questions do we have?
What was your highlight when working the shows?
Have we got any viewers' questions?
Not yet.
None there.
They're all intrigued with your new technique.
Are they? So I'm just going to straighten out that root lift section. Look, can you see what I'm doing there? I'm still using the curved tong, but I'm just using the barrel to run the heat. Remember, it's all about heat with tongs, all through the hair, which will just knock out the wave, and it gives us that look.
So why are you knocking out the
I don't
wave
want
you-
root lift.
Oh, okay. Simple.
Because I want this to be really modern, sexy, beachy. Like Katisha's going out and she's getting raved right off her nut tonight. She's going to the where are you going? The venue. I've seen you checked into the venue many a time, lady. 25.
I think the age of the venue is between 6 and 9. Isn't that unusual? Me and Sophie went to the venue plenty of times when we were 16.
Is that Katie's diet sister you're talking about? Sophia Diet. She's a troll, isn't she, that one? Going out in the town without her sister is disgusting. How dare she?
Sophie used to get in all the time and I never got in.
Yeah, I know why that was. Anyway, can we get back to the hair, please?
Okay, what is hot with hair right now? What did you see a lot of on the runway?
Well, one of the most inspirational shows that I've seen, a friend of mine worked on it, and it was with an amazing guy called Duffy, and it was just incredible. What did they do? I could hear you asking me.
Yes.
Well, what they did was they did a wig wrap, which removes all the hair from the head.
Yeah.
Then they got a wig cap, stuck it, placed it onto the hair, put double-sided sticky tape all on the wig cap, and then got little wefts and cut the bits of hair off, which stuck onto the tape and made a little haircut.
Oh my god.
Times 30.
Wow. That's time consuming.
Mate, mate. Are you my mate?
I don't think so.
Sorry, I thought Phil was here then.
Can we get Phil here?
Can we get Phil here? He's getting married, Kerry.
And?
I did
We just
show
want him here to...
I did show a picture of you, and well, we're still looking for his body. Oh my goodness. Who's Phil, you're asking me, Katie, aren't you?
Is that ginger guy that's on your leg?
Ginger! He was ginger, but he's also a kickboxer, so what's your saying?
Sexy.
So, have you noticed one other thing about this hairstyle?
It's real loose. It's all about the frizz at the front.
Oh, that's just me. Sorry.
No, you still none of you have got it.
It's no. Help us out, Nelson, please.
You're not doing the roots?
I'm not doing the roots because we don't want big hair.
All right.
We want it to be.
Oh, I've got a question.
What?
When it comes to tongs, have you ever burnt anyone?
Never. Apart from myself. And I think maybe you a couple of times during practice.
Maybe
Nothing?
my ears.
No, I've never... Listen, let's not talk about ears. Let's not. We definitely don't want to talk about ears. Whatever happens, do not say that she's got a big ear. It's huge.
It's my Nemo ear.
It's your what ear?
My Nemo ear.
Nemo?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a funny ear as well, hasn't he? Nemo? A funny ear.
No, he's got a fin. A fin. It's a fish. Fish don't have ears.
They have...
So could you quickly run us through the do's and don'ts of using a tong?
Yes.
Like, where do we start? Because I've
Okay.
only got 2 hands.
Okay, so, first of all, get a decent one. Get a babbleless one.
Okay.
They're excellent. Second, or equally as good, is the Wham tongs. They're also very good. They're Windle and Moody. They're designed exclusively by Neil Moody. They have got a loose handle. They're steel. They're also very, very, very good. But
And where can you get Wham?
you can buy them on the Windle and Moody site, and they're a professional tool, remember, so they're going to last you longer than you think than a normal tong would.
And do you definitely think you get what you pay for with hair tools?
Yes?
Yes.
You definitely do.
On both of them questions.
I mean, people talk to me an awful lot about hair dryers and why are, you know, what makes a good hair dryer. Is it light? Is it heavy? Is it well, you know, hairdressers know what to use because we use it on a daily basis. So, you know, I think to get a professional piece of equipment will just last you longer.
So it's definitely worth investing in.
Definitely. Absolutely no question.
So what size would I go for?
Well, like I say, this is the 3rd size down. I should know the exact millimetre. I think it's 27 or 26.
Still quite...
Um,
it's like a longer one, isn't it?
she's such a toilet.
No, like, because that's a 38 and that's quite thick, whereas that's a longer one.
No, they're the same length.
All right,
It's
okay.
different thickness.
Okay, so...
Next question.
Yeah.
What product would I use when using a tong? Do I need a heat protection?
Well, yeah, you could. I mean, we're only really letting this being in the hair for a few seconds, so it's not killing the hair by any shape or...
Even with oil on it?
No, the oil will actually give it moisture.
Wow.
Now let's just look in the mirror for a second, please. Can you see how... Our ear? No. Can you see how we've got this sort of lift at the root? And it's just got this like really loose, natural. I've done it myself.
It's got so much volume as
Like a bit of a
well.
rich bitch that's kind of just arrived like this.
That's me.
Oops. Should have said that. Another PG Piano Guardian.
Painter
But
Guard.
can you see how we've got these dents? Can you see it? No one's even answering me, not even Katisha. I think it's absolutely, it's so rude.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Like, okay, I can't do that, it's too dark.
So I'm just looking at the ends, I'm just going...
Actually, because I was going to get a bigger tong, because I've got the middle size one.
Well, one of the things I learnt from Sam McKnight was that actually I also went to pick up the bigger one, but his opinion was you'll get more of a flick with a bigger tong. And if you have the smaller ones in the hair for less time, you get more of a bend immediately and then whip it out. That's what that's what we were working on. So it's not a bad...
So if Katisha's at home doing this herself,
Yeah.
where does she start? Front, back,
Do you know what?
middle,
I would say if her hair was dried and she fancied just putting some texture into it for a night out, just go with a much more of a looser feeling. Just pick up bits of hair randomly. Don't go too uniformed. As soon as you go uniformed, you go hairdressery. But this is not. She just wants to look like as if her hair looks like this all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and
But it only took her 3 seconds.
yeah, and you know what? I think that's really cool. It's got bits of straightness in it. Some of the ends are left out. If the ends are a little bit nuked, like they are here, Katisha's here. I'm not going to say a thing because I didn't cut it. But
What do you mean nuked? Like
nuked,
tired?
wee bit. Did your friends know that you were doing this today? All 3 of them.
Well, Natasha Bogey is saying you're looking gorgeous.
Who's Natasha Bogey?
And my friend, Natasha Bogey.
Really? What?
Thanks, Tash. Love you.
So is it just me that looks gorgeous? What about poor Katisha? Come on, give her some of the airtime. You know, if you don't say that she looks gorgeous, she's going to go in the cream puff, and she'll be in the hole in the wall in 3 minutes.
Yes, that's not my style.
I don't know.
I meant the hole in the wall, not
I think you forget that I knew you before you knew you.
There's been 2 comments.
What's that?
Well, looking gorgeous, Katisha says Natasha.
Yeah, we've just done that.
Oh, right.
It's okay.
So to answer your question, Katie, about tonging,
Yes.
do it where it needs it. Don't do it just all the way on the header, otherwise it looks way too done. And don't do all the hair, just do little bits of the hair.
But what if you've got super straight, poker straight hair?
Like yours, you mean?
I can't curl one bit, leave it straight bit, can I?
No, you can't. But so if you've got very, very straight hair and it doesn't take well to heat, you need to make sure that the hair's got enough product on, like thickening cream or fortifying spray. It needs to be blow dried in. You need some strengthening at the roots, and then when you go in with the tong, you need to leave the tong in for a little bit longer than I would with Katisha's.
Okay.
So if I'm leaving it in for 3 seconds, with Katisha, you need to make it 9. It's this long wand getting in your way. Sorry.
Did you see the...
What's the second
Did you
one?
read out the comment from the new client?
There's nothing coming up on
Well,
my screen.
I can tell you that a new client has commented thanking Anna Lee today for her haircut.
Oh, that's
And she's
sweet.
looking forward to her colour consultation next week.
Oh wow! Thank you for that
Thanks,
feedback.
Heather.
That's incredible. That makes our job all worth it. And Anna Lee is a credit to Browns. She really is. She's a trooper. And if it wasn't for her, then I don't know if I would have made the shows because she did my kit bag. Can we see it, ladies and gents, how it's all just very loose and effortless?
If I could just come here every morning.
That would be my pleasure. I don't know about you. I would love to see your beautiful face every morning. About 9?
And what are you using now?
Some texture spray. And it's great for her hair because it's not wet. Because obviously if we put anything wet on her hair, it will instantly go curly. And that's
Okay.
new. So this is a dry...
Instead of hairspray, this.
Yeah, this is amazing. You need this in your
I
life.
do.
This is a cross between a dry shampoo and a hairspray. But it's amazing for texture. Watch. Flat. See there? Watch. Not anymore.
Oh, hey.
Now, you would think that's going to go wet, wouldn't you? And stiff.
Yeah.
Try it. Feel it. It's dry and soft.
It smells very delicious too.
Yeah. It smells of melons.
Melons.
One of my favourite words. Sorry.
Yeah, because I don't actually use hairspray because obviously I just feel like you said, it makes my hair crunchy and like
Yeah.
hard and
And the thing is,
it creates more moisture than it. So maybe it's just my saving. And will this keep the wave in as well?
yeah.
And you want to the price on that?
I would like to know.
22 bags.
She's shocked.
How much?
She said that's like 14 rum and cokes in the hole in the wall.
I think I'll be able to get 20.
I was going to say that's the hole in the walls put the prices up.
So anyway, remember it's not to look glamorous, it's to look more distressed, like she's just woken up looking like that. I mean, I think it's genius on her.
I mean, this is what I try to achieve every day, and every day I fail.
So this is what you need to do, Katisha, is you need to flatten your roots down first, you know, with a dryer, and then you just need to use the tong on the mid-lengths of your hair. So grab a chunk, okay, put the tong in, like so, wrap it, count to 3, you can't count, can you? Take it out, and then you've got it. That's the way. Go on to the next bit, just pick it up.
And does it matter about the direction?
Good question. If you can remember, do 1 forward, 1 back, 1 forward, 1 back. So that one was,
That was forward.
and the next one is, you're good.
And you're picking up quite a lot of different kind of thicknesses with the hair
Yeah,
there. Does
that's
that
right.
matter, or?
It does, because that gives you the unevenness and because it's a visual, this is a visual texture. This is not a uniform texture.
And you're smoothing the roots at the end as well.
The what, sorry? Do you know what? Only if the roots are really cooked, but actually, for the show, the roots were left out. Yeah. The roots were...
Sorry, I actually meant you smoothing the
ends. Yeah, sorry, so did I, silly monkey. For the show, we actually left the ends quite broken up. That was what it was meant to look like. Because as soon as you curl these, you look as if you go into a wedding. Yeah. And this is not wedding hair.
This is effortless hair.
Yeah. And you can kind of see it now, right?
And what temperature?
Full 210. Because remember, it's only touching the hair for a small period of time. It's not in the hair for a long period of time. So it's not killing the texture. It's not making it. It's not reducing the moisture levels. What other questions have we got? My big comb and some pens ready. What other questions, Kerry Bellend?
There is none just now. They're all watching patiently.
No. Well, I suppose you could. It really depends if you've got anything in your hair already. I suppose when you take your bubbles out, you'll look like Santa. I love your hair. She just rubbed her snotty nose on my neck. So...
Heather asks, I have always used my straighteners to get my hair to curl under the ends. Is that okay, or should I buy tongs?
Great question, Heather. There's a really big indicator in the word straightener.
Meaning?
They're for straight hair.
You do see people using the straighteners a lot though, so it does get quite confusing, doesn't it?
Good. It's a good point that actually, Kerry. Yeah, there is a lot of people that use them, but they are not good for curling. Also, what they do is, pass me a clip. Well, what they do is this. If we're using this other one, if we're backstage and we're curling the hair, we use a cylindrical tong because we want the circle of the hair to make the dent. That's simple. Yes, GHT do it, but what they do is this. You take a section of hair and a flat blade, your hair is pushed against a flat blade and it's forced to curl a little bit like when you get a piece of ribbon at Christmas time and you run the scissor along the end of it. So unfortunately that strips the cuticle down. So it's not the best idea, Hayley. Heather, sorry. My suggestion to you, love, would be this. Go and get yourself a pair of Fabulous Pro Tongs and go for a medium size and just use the tong halfway down the hair shaft and you'll find out a really cool finish to the hair. You don't need to make the ends perfect. That's what makes it modern.
So would you say with using the hair straighteners your curl maybe wouldn't last as long because you're kind of forcing the hair?
Very, very forced. So again, remember, it'll be very like shavings of hair. Yeah, even Katisha knows.
Where can I pick up a Fabulous Pro Tong?
You can get them at any major stockist, but also you can get them at Browns because we believe in them so much. Did that answer your question, Katie Diet? Great. I loved your question though, and it's such a good one because it's very misconceived. Yes, you can do it, but it's much more aggressive on the hair. It's a much more generic curl. It's not personal because you tend to end up with something that's quite flat and contrived. Whereas you see me with the tong, how I went through very freehand with it. And this is what makes this look so cool and modern. It's about doing it where it needs it, not everywhere.
Heather says, Brill, thanks. She's away to look at them now.
Anytime,
so Heather,
babes.
that is
Hook me up, buttercup.
You're looking for, the Fabulous Pro styling tools.
Okay, so I'm going to transform Katisha into something a bit more uppy, if that is a word. Uppy. Okay, so she's got such amazing hair that I wanted to do something a bit with a little bit extra Vava Vumen texture. So I'm just going to go in with a big comb And I'm going to just knock some back combing into it. Now she's got mega hair for this.
Now, does the backcombing technique vary depending on the type of hair you're working with?
It's always the same, because the end result is always the same. And believe it or not, when I come to comb this out, and I'll show you now, watch, it's not tuggy. Watch. Doesn't hurt her. Remember, I'm using a comb to brush
Is
it
it
out.
hurting, Katisha?
Never.
Look, all the way to the bottom. Now look at that. That is proper back combing.
With hair like mine, nothing hurts.
So I'm just going to go through the hair, and in the top especially, and I'm going to just put in some root texture. And I want to do a kind of flat chignon.
Chignon?
Chignon. Well,
What is a chignon?
Well, it's kind of a French twist. So you can see I'm just putting the texture really in at the roots, so that you can see when you look at Katisha now, you can see her volume.
We have another viewer's question from Laura.
Laura?
Do we do hair extensions at Brown's? No. Laura got her hair cut into an inverted bob and hates it. And she says, I end up with the same style every day.
Right.
Any
So
help
she
or
likes
advice?
to mix it up. I've got a client over there that does the same thing actually. Let's just keep the camera pointed at me, she's got a colour on. And she likes to have versatility with the shape and be able to add pieces to it. And I think that's actually quite a good idea. You can get an extension piece which you can attach onto your existing haircut, or fill in gaps. Extensions, you've got to be careful because you've got to pay a lot of money for good ones. If you're not prepared to part with between £600 and £800, then just don't do it. Does that answer your question?
Perfect. Also, Heather asks, how much should she expect to pay for a decent set of Babyliss Pro styling tools?
I think between 50 and 60.
Yes, they are. The titanium ones that we have, the Babyliss Pro, are actually all three. So the 32, the 38 and the 25mm are £50 retailing price.
But remember, they're professional. They last forever. Okay, so I've got the texture in now. So I've got my base in, and I'm just going to ask my lovely assistant Louise Trixabel to hold something for me. She's available for bar mitzvahs, weddings and funerals. You got a boyfriend, Louise? You got a car? Is it just me, or does your hair smell of egg fried rice?
No.
Is it just me?
I had Chinese last night, but I didn't make egg fried rice.
What did you have?
I made tuna.
Chinese?
Yeah, like Asian. Asian tuna. There's no egg fried rice involved. There was rice, but no eggs. And that's really good.
Could have just been the waft of your beautiful perfume. Urdu rice. Okay, right, so I'm going
Coming to a Boots near you soon.
Yes! So a little tip when you're doing this, just make sure that the neck, the head is back, because when it's forward, like so, Katisha, go forward, 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 and then you put the head back, watch what happens to the base.
Ah.
Baggy. But when you start with the head back, you're such a dirty mind. You've got such a dirty mind, Carrie Bell.
No, it's just...
Just what?
No, it's just... I've never heard that word in ages.
Okay, so can I have some pins? Actually, I'm just going to... No, other ones. Yeah. Head back, gorgeous. we're having a pin malfunction. These are amazing pins. See them. I tell you why they're amazing, because they're so strong. Look at the size of those bad boys. Guess where you get those? Guess where you get those? No.
Paris?
Paris, correct. Available at all major retailers except for in Scotland. Yeah, and why do you think they're so good in Paris?
Paris is
Tisha Atkinson. Everything.
Yeah. But just more.
Do you know, you're not far away with that. I'll give you that.
French people are so effortless.
So, just head back, gorgeous, for me. So I'm just going to do one big roll. And as I go, I'm going to take a pin, go over, secure it. See that? I'll do it again. Pin through the gap, onto the other side, and Katisha will tell me right now that that's strong.
So you're almost flipping it over back onto itself.
Correct. You'll feel the tightness of that, Katisha. Yeah, so I'm going to do another one there, look. In, turn, and back through. No blood. Are they okay though, love? So I'm just going to keep rolling.
Laura also says she hates pins showing, so with using these pins, you can't see anything here, can you?
No, but it's all about the placement, gorgeous.
Okay.
Is that okay, that one, Katisha? It's all about the placement. And the other amazing thing about these pins are, look, they're so strong, you can hardly bend them. They're not wincy little things. Very good. And I mean, you know, you can't use wincy pins on Katisha Atkinson, because her hair would just spit them out. So I'm just going to keep twisting. And Laura, I tell you what I was going to say to you is, if you put pins in, and you can see one, don't immediately take it out. What to do is, see how you can see that one? See how you can see that one? Now take it out and then reposition it, because if you take them out straight away, you might take one out that's really needed. Sorry, Kerry. So I'm just going to keep going.
And are you incorporating the area you backcombed into this twist as well?
I am just getting to that now. In to the root, to the skin, gently coat the skin, touch the skin, and then turn and twist and push. Now, that's not going anywhere. And that allows me to play with that. Little fine ones, please, Louise. So what's a little fine one, I can hear you asking? They're the same ones, but they're baby ones. Just as strong. So they're designed for the little necky bits that just pop out that you need to get back in. Another one? Yeah. So like here.
And is this taking inspiration from a hair you done while you were at London and Paris? Or
No.
is this a Nelson Brown original?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Kerry.
Kill the camera woman.
No, big one. So, still no pins sticking out. Just gives it a little fringe. And if you ever get unsure, I'll show you a little trick with a small one. Just pinch the hair and it disappears. How do you feel, Katish?
Feel good.
Little one. Any other questions?
Not currently, no. From the viewers.
See, I quite like these little pieces. They just kind of make it look less hairdressery.
I wonder how tight that is.
Can I have another lip pin, please?
I've got a question, but it may have already been answered.
What's that?
Why? What makes a difference from a pin that shows and a pin that you hide?
Could you elaborate a bit more on that
For
question?
example, when we do hair ups in the salon, that we make sure that the pins are always hiding.
Yeah.
But then when you see people out and about, then they've always got pins on show because they can't see the back of their head.
Ah.
What's better?
Well, it depends. I mean, it can look quite cool, the odd little Kirby grip, I think. I mean, that's beautiful. Look at that.
Lovely.
She looks so regal. And you see, just see here. So I'm just going to show you a little trick. You just pinch, 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 pinch. Little fine one. In, twist it, and back on itself, and it's gone. Almost looks a bit French. Je ne sais pas. L'huile marinière.
You were on holiday in Paris for a week and your French is still shocking.
Oui, c'est bon. That's one of the words that I've did you know something? Do you want me to tell you something really, really funny about the French language? Do you know what a swear word is in French? Quiche.
Quiche?
Yeah. That's no joke. And ask me how I know that.
How do you know that?
Because we were, we were doing a couple of French girls' hair one day, Phil and I, and we were talking about this amazing patisserie that sells quiche Lorraine, which is what France is famous for. And she went under her breath like that. And I said, what are you laughing at? And she said, that is a funny word for something that is silly. So Kerry, I thought about you immediately when they said that.
I don't even know what a quiche is. We don't have them in Annan.
So I'm going to use a little bit of light satin, which is the light hold hairspray, and it's fabulous for hair ups because what it does is it just gives the hair a very light hold. So you can spray it from a distance, at least 12 inches, put it there because that's where all the hairdressers put it, give it a second and just brush it through gently. Can you see what happens? See how it immediately looks sort of all those ends. That's great for chasing Kerry around the room with.
Oh, Laura's also commented, we do still have quiche in Annan. I think it's available from Isherwoods.
Do you know who Laura is then, Kerry? Surely you do, because there's only somebody that live there, isn't there?
I think it's the second largest town in the Shire.
In
The area? I don't know. County? I don't know.
And the Shire.
Shire.
So can you see that kind of mangled, twisted? Another pen, please.
Almost from this angle it looks like you've braided.
Yeah. And I haven't.
You've not.
How long have we been doing this for? How long has our Facebook Live been going for?
About 50 minutes.
Okay, I think that's enough.
Well, Ruth, one last question. Ruth says, is that beautiful hairdo going to be resistant to Scottish windy weather for an outdoor wedding?
It feels very strong.
Look, I'm pulling it. I actually quite like it now.
I've never seen the wind do that before.
This is hurricane proof.
Hurricane brown. Yeah, no, it's
When
pretty
there's a
strong. strong at the
Beautiful Trey
roots.
Corbett in the scene. So to answer your question, Ruth, it will definitely withhold
Do you know,
the wonderful
a funny-
Scottish weather.
It's a funny question because what people forget is that hair is designed to move. No hairstyle will ever be perfect for the whole day. It just doesn't happen unless it's down in its natural position. So people come to me and they say, "Will this hairstyle last all day?" The answer absolutely is no, unless I go with you. What you can do is you can secure it, but it's never going to last all day. It's just impossible unless it's mega tight. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Kind of stand beside me, Katish. Hope you enjoyed it. It was gorgeous working with. I think it's gorgeous working. I'm not even going to tell you that what I've just seen there. Don't even go there. I have the effect on people. Are we doing this next Friday? We're doing this next Friday. Yeah. I don't know what you'd like me to do, so you can maybe
Send in your
come up with some
suggestions.
suggestions. Keep them clean. It's a family show. And thank you to gorgeous Katisha for being so awesome. She's going to be available around soon for curry, coconut and karaoke.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.